French President Emmanuel Macron has acknowledged his country's role in the 1994 Rwanda Genocide at a remembrance event in the capital of Rwanda, Kigali. And for his first public stop, Macron visited the Genocide Memorial. There, he said his country bears responsibility in the killings, but he did not offer a formal apology. The genocide has been a major sticking point between the two countries. Macron's visit is the first by a French head of state since 2010. It looks to reset relations. Macron has also pledged more development aid to Rwanda, including 500 million euros in areas including health and digital.
President Emmanuel Macron arrived in Rwanda on Thursday morning. Together with Rwanda's President Paul Kagame, he headed to the Genocide Memorial Site in the capital, Kigali, where 250,000 victims of the mass killings of 1994 are buried. 27 years after the Rwanda genocide, Macron acknowledged his country's responsibility in the genocide, but did not offer an outright apology.
27 years of bitterness have passed. 27 years of incomprehension, of a sincere attempt to get closure that was unsuccessful. There were 27 years of suffering for those whose intimate stories remain raw because of the pain of the memory. And so, with modesty and respect, as I stand by your side today, I come to recognize our responsibility.
Over 800,000 ethnic Tutsis and moderate Hutus were killed by Hutu militias in 100 days of killings that began in April 1994. Macron's visit follows the release of a report by a French inquiry panel that said a colonial attitude had blinded French officials and the government bore a serious and overwhelming responsibility for not foreseeing the slaughter. However, the report absolved France of direct complicity in the killings, a point Macron also made in his speech.
The killers who stalked the swamps, the hills, and the churches were not French. France was not an accomplice. The blood that was shed has not dishonored the hands of its soldiers. They themselves saw the unforgettable as they tended to wounds and choked on their tears. But France has a role, a history, and a political responsibility in Rwanda.
Rwandan President Paul Kagame hailed Macron's speech.
His words were something more valuable than an apology. They were the truth. Speaking the truth is risky, but you do it because it is right.
Rwanda has released its own report that found that France was aware that the genocide was being prepared and bore responsibility for enabling it by continuing its unwavering support for Rwanda's then-president Juvenal Habyarimana. It was the shooting down of Habyarimana's plane, killing the president, which set off the 100 days of killing. Macron's visit and acknowledgement is geared at helping to reset the relationship between the two countries. The French president is now set to name a new ambassador to Rwanda, the first accredited French envoy since 2015.
Fundamentally, this visit is about the future, not the past. France and Rwanda are going to relate much better to the benefit of both our peoples, economically, politically, and in terms of culture.
From Rwanda, Macron will travel to South Africa, where he will meet President Cyril Ramaphosa to discuss the COVID-19 pandemic and regional crisis, including one in Mozambique. Bulkisa Nyabwa, CGTN.